While the continued progress on the White Collar reboot is exciting, I am a bit nervous that the new series will not be able to top the original's best season. Every single one of the updates on the White Collar revival have been promising, even after Disney decided to pass on the series, resulting in creator Jeff Easton shopping it to other networks. Even so, few of those updates include anything about the storyline for White Collar Renaissance, which is a bit nerve-wracking for those like myself who are hoping the revival can capture the original's tone. Many of the best episodes of White Collar have a distinct mix of comedy and tension, no matter what the focus of the episode was. Whether it was the larger overarching plot or a smaller case of the week episode, White Collar was able to give us the comedic character dynamics and strong story beats the show became famous for, setting it apart from other procedurals. White Collar Season 3 was the best example of that balance, making it a necessary blueprint for the revival to follow. White Collar Season 3 was the show's best. The season first premiered in 2011. Neil, Peter, Mozzie and Keller in White Collar Season 3. White Collar's best season was Season 3 as it was able to dig deeply into the characters while walking the tightrope between comedy and drama tone-wise. White Collar's main plotline of Season 3 covered the build-up and fallout of the U-boat treasure theft, with Neil, Matt Bomber, racing to hide the treasure as Peter, Tim DeKay, tries to uncover it. Though that plotline resolved before the season concluded, the remaining episodes were able to easily pick up the slack as Neil attempted to obtain computation for his sentence and free himself early, leading to the season's intense finale. Despite all of these differing plot points, Season 3 is the best White Collar season because it managed to execute them all and still add in growth and humor. Every episode progressed the main plots in slow but major increments, building them out while still breaking up the tension with levity and further development of other characters. Peter and Neil's relationship also grew in new ways as they faced off while still implicitly trusting the other. Unfortunately, due to how the story went afterward, it may not be as easy for the revival to copy that same formatting. It won't be easy for White Collar Renaissance to recapture Season 3's magic. White Collar Renaissance has to reconcile with the original's ending. Though it is possible, White Collar Renaissance may not have as easy a time recapturing the balanced tone of Season 3 as the original's ending left that tone skewed. White Collar's ending left quite a bit unsaid between Neil and Peter and put them at a huge physical distance, so recapturing the lighter side of Season 3 will be difficult, as Peter needs to track Neil down in Europe first and reconcile. Not only that, but if the several theories about White Collar's revival end up being true, then the revival may begin with a much darker storyline. The tragic death of Willie Garson, who played Mozzie during White Collar's original run, has led various audiences to speculate that Peter and Neil could spend the revival tracking down his murderer, mirroring aspects of Neil's arc in Season 2 over Season 3. Combining this with the likely tension that has sprung up in Neil's absence between him and the other returning characters means that the revival may tilt towards a more dramatic tone as there is little room for comedy. That being said, this may work in White Collar Renaissance's favor as it attempts to adapt to modern television. White Collar Renaissance might be a very different show from the original. The revival may have a different format to fit streaming standards. Neil and Peter looking concerned at something off-screen in White Collar. White Collar Renaissance could end up being very different since the television sphere has shifted, allowing it to be distinct from the original series while still honoring its memory. Procedurals are not as common as they were back in the 2010s as streaming has dominated the television landscape, causing stories to focus on overarching plots audiences can watch straight through over adding in smaller narratives to draw it out. As a result, White Collar Renaissance would need to change the series formatting to reflect this, giving it a distinct identity, even with that darker tone and focus on a larger storyline, though the revival will also honor the original White Collar as those same storylines allow for a lot of character moments. In order to slow these newer plots down, a lot of streaming shows highlight characterization, which this procedural was known for and why it has stood the test of time. This would let the revival of White Collar retain the qualities of the original we love as it shifts to fit the new media landscape and picks up from the tumultuous place the original left our favorite duo.